I think for us, it's huge for Canadian rugby, but to be able to do that and to have with such a strong showcase, having that confidence going into the final, I think is really exciting.
It was obviously 5-7 at half time and everyone's like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm completely chill because I know that the Red Roses would have come back in the second half.
I hope that the narrative coming out of the World Cup is that women's sport deserves investment and that it deserves, continued continuity after this World Cup. And I think that is what should be the outcome of whoever wins, is that we see momentum continue beyond this World Cup.
England have the team to beat Canada, but they need their best game.
Are they going to bring their best game?
Yes.
Because we haven't seen their best game yet.
They're saving it. Best till last.
Best till last. Pam?
Definitely Canada is going to take it home 100% with confidence.
Hello and welcome back to the official Rugby World Cup podcast, brought to you by Asahi Super Dry, the official beer of the Women's Rugby World Cup 2025. I'm your host, Betty Glover. As always, I am joined by the wonderful Anne Onwisiri. And tell everyone what you've been doing this weekend, other than watching the Rugby World Cup semi-finals.
I've been playing rugby and I'm doing a lot of karaoke, and that's why my voice sounds as sexy as it does.
I don't know if you can tell. But that is why Anne is very raspy. And what's your go-to karaoke song?
It's All Coming Back to Me Now by Celine Dion, because it goes on for 7 minutes and I love to be centre of attention.
It's just ridiculous. And did you win your rugby match at the weekend?
I won the rugby match. I did personally, yeah. But yeah, we won. We have like an average age of 30 on our team. The opposition were like 18 and just like running circles around us, but we did it. We got it.
Well, we'll go into it in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, the real match
later. Yeah, but we've got two heavyweights with us in the podcast today, both in the red corner because they both support teams that are red. It's very annoying. I can't do a nice like in the red corner, in the blue corner. No, you're both red. Anyway, former England player and World Cup winner Rachael Burford. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling?
About what? About the final?
about life.
Life's
I think
good, isn't it? Like the World Cup's been awesome, so I'm good, but I am nervous about what's coming this weekend.
Oh, I bet you are. And it's because Canada are looking so good. Pam Buisa, thank you so much for joining us again. You were at both semi-finals this weekend. Feeling knackered, tired, excited?
Excited. Honestly, very excited for this game. I gave her the eyes. Yeah. I gave her the eyes.
Five.
Pam likes to do that. She likes to get in people's heads. And last time Pam was on this podcast, she did say, she was like, Canada are going to win this. Yeah. She looked right down the barrel of the camera. That was a confident woman. I've never seen anyone. But fair play, because Canada absolutely smashed their semi-final against New Zealand. What a semi-final that was. England, of course, went on to beat France. They took the win. Brilliant second half of rugby. We'll get into that. So we have got a Canada against England final. Anne, what was your reaction?
I'm stressed. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think the Canada-New Zealand game was phenomenal. And that was just Canada absolutely bullied New Zealand on the park. And like, I think the England-France game, I watched it here and it was so stressful. It was like really scary, but I'm glad that we've got the win. Yeah, it'd be exciting to see. I'm nervous for this weekend, I can't lie.
Let's start with the first semi-final then. Canada beat New Zealand 34-19. Pam, did you predict that scoreline?
I mean, I predicted a win because I wanted to win, but I didn't know how it was going to look like. I think when I thought about, Black Ferns had a phenomenal campaign leading up to everything. They have phenomenal athletes, so many great players. We also do as well. So for me, I was just kind of like, whoever shows up on the day is going to carry it forward because that's what it's going to take. But I was nervous, but I'm going to back my girls 10 times out of 10. Yeah.
It was absolute scenes at the end. There were tears, there were celebrations. Can you just sum up for us what this means for the Canada team?
Oh, it's huge. There was a milestone game. Karen Paquin had her 50th cap. She's literally a legend, 38 years old, killing the game still. And just also for us, I think like we literally had to fundraise our way to get here. We've had to battle, we've had a tough journey to get here. So I think for many of us, like the last time we were actually in a final was in 2014. And
Five eyes back.
You know what I mean? So I think for us, it's huge for Canadian rugby, but to be able to do that and to have with such a strong showcase, having that confidence going into the final, I think is really exciting.
Remind us what your fundraiser was called.
Mission to win the World Cup.
I mean, if the money's people will be happy they've donated that money. It's going well so far, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was it that Canada did so well? Because you watch them and it's just absolutely exhausting watching Canada because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's quick. It's quick rugby, and we just don't let the opposition set up. I think what's really exciting is that you don't know what to expect. We can play in our set piece, in our attack, in our defense, but also we're so quick. So like it makes it really hard for our defense to know how to do anything. But I also think we had a great defensive showcase. Black Ferns threw so much at us. They do the chip kicks. They did so much, but to be able to cover that and have the fitness to keep going throughout the whole 80 minutes, I think was instrumental.
Rachael, what did you think about it? Because you obviously watched it, and it just felt like Canada just really dealt with the pressure from New Zealand so well.
Yeah, I was actually commentating on it, and it was an incredible game to watch. And I just think, like, picking up on a couple of Pam's point, the fitness level that they're at was incredible. Like, New Zealand just couldn't keep up, and the physicality of the forwards, the speed that they play at, it doesn't give the opposition any chance. And, you know, we know New Zealand are so incredible as a team and the individuals that we have. And what I think the big thing around the game at the weekend is, like, Canada didn't give them a shot to get back into the game or to get a bit of that momentum. There was that second try that they scored and you suddenly thought, oh, and then bang, straight away Canada go like, no, not on our day. It was so impressive. The speed that they play at, the physicality, the intent that they carried with the forwards was unbelievable.
Sophie de Goede is just so incredible to watch, isn't she? World Player of the Year for you, Anne, is she? Do you reckon?
100%. I think this tournament, she's like stood out by miles. And my favourite moment was the intercept. When she got the ball and was just like running, like fighting for her life. And it was just such a like, where I was watching it, I was at the store and someone was like, God, she's going so slowly. But I was like, know that feeling as a forward where you're like, you think you are going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And you could just see her face. She was just like, what am I doing with this? Like, what's happening? And then she passed it. But that was just my moment of the match. And she could just do absolutely anything.
Well,
Yeah.
that was like the clock was near enough in the red. So she just put in a massive performance, something like 17 carries, 19 tackles, a try, kicking the conversions, winning. Like, she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Pam, when you look at this Canada team, do you think this is the best Canada team that we have ever seen?
I mean, I got to shout out the generations before. I think we are a product of all of the Canadians that have worn the jersey. I think that this is a really strong side. I think that every single person has put in the work, but I think that Canadian side that we're seeing now is a testament of all the work that happened before we even got there. I think before us, you know, like we've been, you know, in 2014, like all the other years where we've had like so many strong Canadian players that have showcased, but I think that this is a very strong side. I think that, you know, we've built the momentum. So it's not just now that we're seeing a strong Canadian side. I think it's just a buildup of, you know, getting inspiration from the past and seeing, you know, the generations, the Magali Harveys, you know, players like that have kind of paved the way for many of us. And I think that's a product of that.
But is it the best Canada side that you think we've ever seen? Is it their time?
I think it's 100% our time. That's the question. That it's 100% our time. I think so.
Yeah, Rachael, what do you think?
Well, I think they are. This is the best we've ever seen them. I think the last couple of years they've really kind of outperformed. Obviously, beating New Zealand, that draw, and the growth in their squad has been incredible. And I think if you rewind to last Rugby World Cup, that semi-final, almost get into the final, and now they've got another 3 years under their belts. And like forever, we've always said like Canada and USA, super athletic, really tough to play against. But now they've got the rugby IQ piece with it. And that is a really, really dangerous combination.
How much credit do you have to give to Kevin Rouet then? Because it seems like he's a very smart man.
He's a genius. I believe Kevin Rouet is a genius. I think literally it'd be after a game, like we're all kind of excited. Kevin has the laptop. He's rewatching footage. Like in the bus already, like that guy takes in so much rugby, and I think in a way that makes it so inclusive. I think like with rugby, like he comes from France, came to Canada, has been in Canada for so long, and I think for many of us, we didn't necessarily grow up. I mean, like for me, I didn't grow up with rugby, like growing up. And so to be able to feel like with this style of play, I can be a part of it. And I think that's very much a testament of how he lets us in and teaches us to be empowered by our strengths. I think it's a very strength-based type of rugby where it's instinctive. And I think it's like, sometimes you see us play, we're having so much fun because it's like, I know that if someone kicks that ball, I'm fast, I'll go get it. Like you're not overthinking it. It's play, where's the best space, and do that. And I think making rugby simple and also welcoming allows us to be our best.
I heard someone say that it's sort of like you've got his French flair where he's just sort of like, just do what feels right. But then you've also got the side of him, because he's a very clever man, isn't he? He did mechanical engineering at university.
He's brilliant.
So
yes.
He's got that side where he's got the analytical sort of brain behind it, and it's sort of a tandem of both, I guess.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I also think that Kevin alone is a brilliant guy, but I also think it's the people also around, because I think being a logic-brained, rational person, also having different people in the composition of the coaching staff is huge. So you'll have the coaching staff that are, more vibes and kind of, making things a bit chill. So when things are a bit more strict, then like you have different people to go to. So I think also in the composition of our coaching staff makes it easy so that you also know where to go to, who to go to as well.
And while we're on that first semi-final, you wanted to talk about some of the cool things that you saw on social media, including the friendship bracelets.
The friendship bracelets from... Oh, do you have one?
Well, I think... Is it this one?
Asia Hogan Rochester
made
one and gave one to Braxton Soros at the end of the game, which I think was just absolutely lovely.
That was such a nice moment, though, isn't it?
Such a lovely moment. I think it's like having that respect and that camaraderie like after the game as well, which is it's everyone's favourite thing about rugby, is just how much everyone respects your opposition and like fellow teammates as well. And I would say that Asia is definitely one of the like standout players of this World Cup as well, and they've been like phenomenal, and like the tries they've got as well. One of my stars as well.
The reach that this Rugby World Cup has had, and then when you also think about the crowds, the sold out crowds as well, the atmosphere, it's been incredible, hasn't it?
It's amazing. And I think especially like this summer, like I'm working at the Style of Our Own store, and like around a lot of people that don't necessarily know anything about rugby, I would say like football was our biggest sport, and like kind of seeing the audience grow from like off of like the Lionesses win and kind of being like, we want to support sport. We're seeing like loads of stuff about rugby online, and like seeing how much it's growing and becoming more mainstream. It's so exciting, and I think it's great.
I've seen an influencer online crying because she was just so overwhelmed by like seeing women on the pitch doing something like that. Like it is great. Rachael, let's talk about New Zealand. What do you think's next for them?
Well, they've got a game this weekend, haven't they? So
they do.
Where
do they go from this? How do they pick themselves up?
Well, it's really hard, first and foremost. Obviously, they're a team that have got so much legacy and history in making World Cup finals, winning them. So it's a massive disappointment for them. But having been in teams where you have lost and picking yourself back up, it's all about, okay, how do we rise to this next occasion? It's a different mentality we've got to go into. It's not in the final where we thought we were going to be, but they will still want to put their best foot forward. There'll potentially be some players that it'll be their last Rugby World Cup, so making sure they do their teammates proud. They want to make their country proud. So it's a matter of pride this weekend, and I think they'll be disappointed that Canada was so good that it didn't allow them to play their kind of game, and I think they'll want to come out and showcase what they're about and how they can play.
First defeat in a World Cup in 11 years. That is quite something, isn't it? And it just shows the stranglehold that New Zealand have had on the women's game. Yeah,
they've always been the number one team that everyone is has fear about, that coming up against them. They have this mentality that against other teams where you just think, and that's why Friday was so hard to call, because it was almost like, right, Canada are actually playing the best rugby at the Rugby World Cup, probably the standout team, most consistent team, but they're playing New Zealand. And that means a Portia Woodman can get a simple line break, change the momentum. Suddenly the swing is all back. They have players like that across their back line. So I think, everyone was kind of like, we think Canada, but it's New Zealand. You can't ever count them out. But Canada did such a good job at completely shutting down. In the commentary team, we hardly were talking about Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe and Sorensen McGee, because they were just complete. The defensive edge was amazing. So, fair play to them. But for obviously New Zealand, and this is important as well, just one game doesn't define you as a group. your legacy that you've done across all of the years, and I'm sure that they'll be picking themselves up and want to finish on their terms this weekend.
Yeah. The one positive from New Zealand's World Cup, though, is Sorensen McGee and just how incredible she has been. I mean, what do you think is next for her? What do you think she's going to go on and do in her career? Because she's special, isn't she?
She's really special. And I was 19 when I first got selected to go to the Rugby World Cup, and it's the unknown, isn't it? But I was very nervous being in that environment where she just seems like, this is what I do. Yeah. Give me the ball and I'll finish. I'll dance through a few people. And she's been a breath of fresh air, and it's great to see other players coming through. And it's funny, isn't it? Because you've got this young, bright star, and we're potentially going to say goodbye to the biggest star in New Zealand in Portia Woodman-Lipcliffe, and then suddenly they just roll out another one. You're like, oh,
yeah.
Thought we were going to get rid of that kind of stardust, but no, they're reproducing it.
Let's move on to England-France then. England beat France 35-17. Really good second half from England. Not as convincing in that first half. What's your reaction to it, Rachael?
Yeah, I think, France, they will always turn up in those kind of games and throw absolutely everything. And they have obviously had a lot of noise, outside noise going on that week, and really channeled it into that game. And they've always been our nemesis. Like the times where they've been really close games, and it was obviously 5-7 at half time, and everyone's like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm completely chill because I know that the Red Roses would have come back in the second half.
2 points in it though.
I know there's a lot of stressed people around me, and I'm like, my face was the same at the start as it was at the end. It was, I was completely had full confidence that the Red Roses were going to win that game, but just knew you've got to battle it out with France. You've just got to run the course and take your opportunities, and that was the difference between them. Like England took their opportunities, whereas France, especially in that first half, they probably had an extra 2 opportunities to score and go up. That would have been a different position, because now suddenly the pressure is on the Red Roses. Yeah. Right, we're behind. Are we going to get into the final? And then that mentality of that worry of not making a final can start to creep in, but they managed to keep them out. So I think overall impressed, a hard win. And also I wasn't down pitch side, but the weather also was really windy down there. So that does play into effect, and you've got to take advantage of that wind when you do have it.
That first half, just sort of zooming in on that a little bit, what did France do particularly well, or what did England do particularly badly?
I think, well, firstly, France got into the 22 on 2 occasions, and one occasion they scored and then created another opportunity. So they were quite efficient when they got there. And I think their rush defence on England just forced some errors, put them under a bit of pressure. But also the ball retention wasn't that great from England initially, which just, if you haven't got the ball, then you can't play, you can't put pressure on, you can't build scoreboard. But the French just didn't go away. And I think that's one of the key things, is that line speed and applying that pressure on England was really tough for them initially. But England know and are so process driven. They're like, we know we'll get to the right point. We know we'll get our opportunity, and we know that we'll take it. And that's the difference.
That is such a good mentality. It's such a winning mentality, isn't it? And England know how good they are, number 1 in the world. Yeah. Do you think England needed a little bit of pressure? They haven't really felt the pressure so far in this tournament.
Yeah, and I think it was, you can clearly see that they learned a lot in the second half and took that on, because France were brutal in the first half, and I think England needed that pressure to be like, actually, you need to step up and beat us, basically, which was really good. And I think we all kind of knew that England was going to win, but I think didn't expect it to be as close as it was. And I think, especially going in and kind of seeing how Canada played the day before, there did need to be some sort of push and some pressure. Like Kat last week said, that England probably aren't playing at the best that they could be. I think they definitely are. They played better on the weekend, but enough to beat Canada, I don't know. I
think that the big thing that came out of that game for me wasn't about the attack, because we know we've got the likes of Ellie Kildare, Meg Jones, those type of players, and big players in the front row, bottom end, that can get you on the front foot. But their defensive effort was outstanding. Their goal line defence was unbelievable. And the double hits, going back, and their discipline, which are really 2 big factors which play into winning games. And everyone talks about, defence wins games, and going into the final at the weekend, they'll feel really confident on that front, even though they know what's coming. But they will have huge confidence in their defence, that it doesn't matter what Canada will throw at us, we're defensively really strong.
It's such a good point, actually, because I was obviously going to talk to you about Meg Jones, Ellie Kildare, because they always take the headlines. But who really stood out for you then?
Who stood out for me? I think Hannah Bottoman was world class again. In and around the breakdown, comes back from it's the prop era.
Year of the props. Honestly.
I mean, I don't even think they're really props. I think they're just like the work that they get through, the line breaks that they have, and the turnovers, the tackle count. Look, I think Ellie played well. Like, took her moments and created some moments of magic. And this whole World Cup is about magic. It feels like how impressive it is.
She needed to stand up in that game, didn't she?
Yeah, well, I think people say that like, oh, she has to stand up. If Ellie's creating other things for other people, like she's also happy to play that role. But what she can do is a bit of stardust, like that ricochet kick from Menage, and she picks that up and then glides through like 4 or 5 players. Like she has that in her, and that's a real weapon to have. But yeah, I think Zoe Harrison had a really good game. Obviously, there's been a bit of change between the 10s, and everyone's kind of like, who's the right one? Holly Aitken was brilliant last week, so some people were like, oh, is she going to come back in? But I thought Zoe Harrison kicked really, really well and directed the team. And defensively, she really stood up, I thought. She had a few trains coming down her channel, and she just kind of like just put her body in front of them. But yeah, I think, collectively is probably the piece where, like, is everyone clicking together? Like, we're having lots of standout individuals, and that's maybe what Kat's point was. Like, it's not fully clicking for consistently for 80 minutes, but we've got so many star power of individuals. That's enough to sometimes get you over the game.
We'll get into why it's not clicking and what exactly isn't quite clicking in a minute. But Pam, what did you make of the game? Were you watching England thinking, ooh, this is going to be an interesting final?
I mean, I never feel like, ooh, really? But
so confident about everything.
I mean, I think for me, like, I mean, obviously, if I'm watching it not necessarily as a spectator, but as like, okay, what are the gaps? Like, literally the whole time I'm like narrating what's happening as the opportunities. So I think to kind of like, I think France threw everything at them in the first half. And I think for sure one thing we'll look to do is to see what happened there. But to do that consistently throughout the whole game. I think, as you said, defense wins games. And so the defensive performance that England had was so strong that that's what led to that scoreline, and they were able to pick up, those opportunities. But I think for us, we're building off of also that performance against New Zealand. And so to be able to replicate that and then do more is going to be really important. But at the end of the day, a lot of the players on our team play in the PWR, play with and against the English players. So I think also, we were talking about New Zealand, about how like there's that, the fear of, playing the Black Ferns. That's a bit less when you're also teammates with them. You see them as humans, right? So it's your opposition doesn't seem like the number one in the world. It's like, this is another player that I play with and against that I see every weekend. And now I just have to focus on my game. So I think for us, it'll be more so about quieting the outside noise and focusing on the game in the 80 minutes.
Well, we're going to get into a proper preview of the final in a moment. But it is time for our Asahi Super Dry pub quiz. Are you guys ready?
Woo!
Okay, Rachel, you are Team Asahi Super Dry 0. What does your buzzer sound like? Nice, strong. Pam, you're Asahi Super Dry. Oh, that's a winning one, that.
I feel that.
That's a winning one.
I feel that.
Here's a quick recap of all of the rules. 6 questions and a bonus point opinion question at the end. The winner of that one will be chosen by the fans and revealed in next week's episode. So, before we start, I'll reveal who won last week's bonus point question. It was between Anne and former Red Rose Cat Merchant. It was about, what was it about, Anne? Do you remember?
I think it was like go-to hairstyle pre-game, and what would you do? And I said that I would dye my hair the colour of the opposition's colours, and I think Kat said that she'd braid her hair.
Yeah, you wanted to get in the opposition's head. You won. Everyone picked you. Well done.
Oh, nice.
Okay, are you both ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay, here is question number 1. Which player has made the most tackles this tournament? And here's a...
Is she Australian?
That's not the question.
It's not an answer.
Okay, wait. She's Australian. It's an Australian player.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Come on,
it's not
Rachel. Are you
Australian,
stealing
no.
it?
I was going to.
Here's a hint for you both. It is a Red Roses player.
Sadia Kabaya.
Correct.
Uh,
Hey. Took you both a while, but we got there. Okay.
There's a lot of players.
There is a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
know.
players.
I was like,
1-0 to Rachel. Question number 2. Who is currently the top point scorer on Fantasy Rugby World Cup? Is it Ellie Kildun, Braxton Sorensen McGee, or Sophie de Goede? Straight in there.
Ellie Kildun.
Correct. No, it's not. It's not correct, actually.
I could steal.
You've really given it.
Sorry, it's not correct. Are you going to steal it?
Is it Sophie de Goede?
No.
Miss Sorensen McGee.
It is, yeah, but I'm not giving either of you.
Yeah, I was like, don't give her the point.
Okay, Rachel's still leading 1-0. Question number 3.
Oh, wait. Why?
Well, because
Guess
I don't
what?
think
I got it right.
right.
I did.
I like
in the end.
almost did though.
In
I
the
like
end.
said it's the same letter.
You said
S.
a completely different country.
Rachel 1-0.
Oh.
Put my foot down here, guys.
Okay.
Question number 3. The first time Canada played England at a Rugby World Cup was in 1994. But which country was it in? Oh.
We went at the same time. You can take this one first.
Okay, well, I wasn't born yet,
It's very nice
but
of you.
I'm gonna say it was in the U.S.
Incorrect. I wasn't born yet, guys. I'm really
Yeah.
young
I was
still.
not there.
Scotland?
Correct.
What?
I know. Pam, look, mate,
let's
you're going
go
to have to
do
get yourself
some
back in
history.
this game. Rachel's leading 2-0. Question number 4. What year did England last lose a game in England? Bonus point if you can say who it was against. I'm going to give that to Pam.
It was against New Zealand.
Correct.
And a second question was
What year?
the year
Yeah.
in
What
which
year
it
did
happened
Yeah, last
was
lose.
in 20. I mean, it's in the 20s something. Yes, 2019.
Incorrect, I'm sorry.
Was it 2014?
It wasn't.
2015?
No,
Six
no.
Nations.
It was 2016. So neither of you... Pam, I'm going to give you a bonus point because you said New Zealand.
Thank you.
And I said the year.
No, you didn't say 2016, Rach.
Oh, no, I said 2015.
Yeah. Sorry, you were close. Question number 5. Kevin Rouet is Canada's head coach, but what was his job before, or what did he study?
Kevin Rouet studied engineering. He has a master's degree in engineering, and he was an engineer.
Yeah.
Engineering.
We spoke about that a little bit earlier, but there we go. Okay, so I believe that's 2-2 now.
Yeah, because you've rigged it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Fighting words.
I'm getting evils here from Rachel Burford.
Side eye.
Question number 6. This is to win it. This weekend's final is sold out at the Allianz Stadium. What is the capacity? Closest answer wins.
The capacity is...
Come on, you pressed the buzzer. You meant to just say the answer.
It's dramatic. 84,000.
That is a good guess. Rach, do you want to give your... And then we'll go closest answer wins.
Oh, you've thrown me off now. 82,500.
Oh! It's 82,000.
Wow.
Right. Crack it open. Celebrate. Okay, well done, Rachel. You are the winner. Good game. Good game.
Starting the week strong.
Nice. I like it. Bonus point question here. So New Zealand do the haka before a game. If you had to do something as a team, as a pre-game performance, what would it be and why?
Oh, we're so bad at the English, aren't we?
Yeah, terrible.
We are. Morris dancing. What would we do? What would this era do?
Yeah, that's it. What would this era do?
Oh, that's your era, hun. Yeah. And I feel like you might have a good answer for this. Yes.
Yes, I do.
I would do the kanji dance, where like it there's like kande, but then I realised that's an American song.
What is
But
it? What's the dance?
It's like
Go on.
You got to do it.
Fine.
it's like there's like kande,
And then you like
I can
flip.
feel it when you walk, and then you do something like that.
Oh.
Like a flash mob dance. Yeah.
It looks like the electric slide in a way.
Yeah.
I got you.
Like the can.
Yeah.
Like the can. Yeah. What would you do, Pam?
Okay, well, it would be led by Emily Tatosi or Paige. We were learning another song. There's a couple songs in our I can't remember the song name, but
Sing it.
Or
give us a...
There's like a dance move that's like, it's kind of, but I can't remember.
Basically, I feel like what you're saying is that you would do some sort of TikTok dance, right?
No, it's like choreographed.
Oh, right. Okay.
Emily learned it and got us, was like 1 and a 2 and a 3. It was like a dance. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't already follow Pam Buisa on her socials, I would suggest getting on there because all she does is dance.
Maybe you should put one out this week of what you mean.
I'll do the choreography. Yeah. Stay tuned. It'll be on my socials.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Let's get rid of those beer bottles and move on to the final preview. Before we get on to the big England-Canada preview, we must say that World Rugby have announced the nominees for the World Player of the Year, which is very exciting. Woo! So we have got Sophie de Goede from Canada. Gee. Obviously, she's next level, isn't she? Meg Jones from England. And Georgia Miller from New Zealand.
Huge.
What do we think of those? I mean, big names.
Yeah, and I think all of them probably deserve it in some way or another. Obviously, Meg Jones, she's just been incredible the entire year, through Six Nations and also play with WR. She's performed on this stage. She's absolute quality. Georgia Miller has just literally kicked down the door and said, hello, I'm here. Look what I can do. And she's been incredible. But Sophie de Goede, it's just everything. She literally does everything, doesn't she?
She's the full package.
Yeah, she's the full package. And she's I know her fairly well, but you probably know her a lot better. And she's such a sweetheart off the field as well.
Pam, tell us about what Sophie de Goede is like as a person. Because on the field, she's been next level, hasn't she? Completely ruthless, just incredible to watch. What's she like off it?
Honestly, Sophie is one of the most technical type of person I've ever met. So leading up to this World Cup, she was recovering from an ACL injury. And when I was doing my rehab also, we near the tail end of it, we were rehabbing together. And seeing how hard she works, I think everybody sees the fruits of it. She does everything, but she is so diligent about her craft. She's running the Broncos, she's kicking, she works so hard. And I think I saw an interview, she's talking about instinctive is that with her preparation, she is just constantly working so that when it comes to game day, it looks free flowing. It looks like it's seamless, but she puts in so much work. So Sophie, I think in the lead up, with the injury, you have a lot of time to watch and see others play. But I think she took that opportunity to dial in. She was a back row before, going in now as a second row, and adding those skill sets into her game, I think has only made her even more world class than she is.
And she's super humble as well. Anytime you talk to her, she doesn't think about all the accolades or the mentions or the player of the match award. She literally is it's all about the team for her and the way she comes across. And, there was a recent video going around about a comment asking her about the referee, and she's like, it's not about the referee, it's about what we do. And just everything's always within. And she has so much compassion for her teammates, and you can really see that.
Pam also mentioned that she's recovered from an ACL injury just this summer in order to rock up to this World Cup. Can you explain for people that may not quite understand how big that is to come back from an ACL injury?
Yeah, well, I was actually in the same country as her when she did it. It was in America just before Rio Olympics. So there's one thing to have such a big injury. You're looking at 9 months to a year. There's no way around it. You can't rush it. It's one of those kind of injuries that no player ever wants to hear. To then have your Olympics taken away from you, where she was selected in the squad to go, the mentally getting over that is one thing. But then, as you say, putting in all that hard work, the rehab for an ACL is relentless. It's long hours, it's tedious, and it's, you have to get through so many different milestones to get there. You've got to be so diligent to be able to come back. And for her to come back and be as if she's never been away and better than what she was before is remarkable. And it comes down to the amount of preparation that she's put in, the amount of hard work behind it, so that she goes out there and it looks easy, but because she's banked all the hard work for it.
Talking about Sophie de Goede, in 2014, she was watching the England against Canada Rugby World Cup final as a fan on the sidelines thinking, I want a little bit of this. Now she's going to be doing it. She's going to be playing in the Rugby World Cup final for Canada. Is she going to be the difference for Canada? Do you think she's...
absolutely. I think Sophie's always a difference. I think she's consistent. She was our former captain. She's been consistently in every single game. I think we see with the stats, it's like wild. But I think that she not only brings a great showcase and a great performance, but she brings everybody along with her. And I think that's what's so strong about Sophie, is that not only does she impact and uplift, by bringing her team, but she also helps and showcase. You'll see, like, I remember there was a try that Asia scored, was Sophie got that. It was a breakdown. Sophie was there, passed that ball out. And I think it was just like, she brings everybody up along with her.
Yeah, she's like always involved in so many moments that build up to like positive play for Canada. And we go back to that intercept on Friday, like it's the 80th minute. She's worked her socks off the whole game. She's come from the other side of the ruck to then pick off the play and read it, and then bless it, her head down, thinking she was going to outrun. I think it was Portia, wasn't it? Like, but yeah, it's just the way that she plays brings everybody with her. Like, she doesn't need the captaincy to lead. She does it naturally, and everybody follows her.
Yeah.
So Magali Harvey actually was the last and maybe the first Canada player to win World Player of the Year. That was back in 2014, wasn't it? So we're thinking maybe history will repeat itself, but Canada will win the final.
It'll be W and W. You know what I mean? It'll be win the game and then Sophie it'll be like check mark, check mark.
But it shows Canada rugby is going in the right direction.
Yeah,
right?
100%. And I think kind of like what I was saying about like how we're building off the momentum of the, like we have players on our team that was in that game. And I think, in Karen's, like when we went back to the hotel, she was talking kind of for her 50th cap and talking about like, we've been to semifinals, but I don't know if you were ready then. And she said that this coming is that, she's like, all I ask is that we dial in this week, have the hardest training session, and finish the job. And I think that was so powerful for us, was that like we were all like, 50th cap, so exciting, and like, we just beat New Zealand. But she was like, I want you to remember what we're trying to do. We tried to win last time, but this time we want to finish. And our mission to win the World Cup, like that is the mission. So just to kind of get that perspective from what happened in the past was really important for some of our younger ones.
What was it like being there when she was saying that? Were you getting goosebumps? Do you feel also a little bit sad that you're not playing as well? Yeah,
I mean, I was just excited to be there with the team. This World Cup has been so obviously different for me. It's obviously a dream to play in like one of the biggest Rugby World Cup in women's history at this time. But I think what's so beautiful about our team is that like I always feel a part of the team, and like when Karen was my roommate in South Africa and she's kind of giving me all this wisdom, and just hearing how like someone who has had a long career, not necessarily be focused on the now, but also the future, also kind of gives me hope that like, maybe I'm not playing in this World Cup, but the future is still there. So I think that's kind of consoling me in many ways.
Pam, you'll be back.
You reminded us how young you are, so you're definitely going to be around.
We've got Gen Z over here, don't you worry. She'll be playing in the next World Cup, that is for sure.
Rachel, you played in the final against Canada in 2014. Tell us about like what's finals week like, and like what do you think the vibe's going to be like in camp?
I think a big part of it is you don't want to change too much. Like, it is just a game of rugby at the end of the day. It's an 80-minute game. You'll have the same sort of processes. Things will tweak throughout the week, but it's really about like being really tight as a group heading into that week and having small conversations, making sure, you've talked about some of the things last week that may not have gone right. How do we put that right? But it's all about making sure you feel good this week. Like, so whatever it takes to make that group feel really confident, excited about the weekend. That's the key thing. It's not about changing things and suddenly like, oh my God, because as soon as you start getting into that chat, you start to tense up and think, oh my God, this is obviously it's the biggest game, but you don't want to downplay that. And it's all about addressing it like, yes, it's a World Cup final this weekend. It's the biggest game of our career. We know what's at the end of it, but it's still just a game of rugby. You've earned the right to be there. So like, trust it. But yeah, I think a lot of excitement. There'll be naturally nerves, of course there is. But I also think both teams, we could potentially see the best of both again, because there's a lot of pressure to get to this week. So actually the shackles are off, and you could see both teams play a little bit freer as well.
Hannah Bottoman was asked after the semi-final if she was going to be celebrating and you know, like partying or whatever. And she was like, absolutely not. We've not won anything yet. Which is the right attitude, isn't it? You can't be celebrating a semi-final when you've got a final a week later.
100%. And you know, Alex Tessier was the same. She was like, yep, it's great, but we've got another game to go. And you've got to be like that. You've got to be ruthless in that mindset, because if you go too far the other way, you know semi-finals want to be your finals.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to play your finals game. You want to reset. You've got to enjoy that moment. You know, it's obviously historical since you guys have been in a final. So you've got to soak all of that in and be like, wow, look at what we've achieved. But then, you know, come Monday morning, it's like, right, back in the meeting room.
Yeah.
What's our focus today? What's the focus in the next session? And same for the rest of the week. You can't get too ahead of yourself.
How much training do you do in this period? Because there's not a lot that you can change or sort of add to at this point. So I guess it's just going through the motions.
Definitely not going through the motions.
Oh.
It'll be like really intentional.
That's why I'm not a rugby head coach, isn't it?
That's the last thing you want to do.
Guys, let's just go through the motions.
No, there'll be some training this week, but it'll be really intentional. So like maybe some tweaks from last week's, maybe some new plays they want to bring because they've identified something in the opposition, but it'll be fairly low level. Obviously, both teams had a massive game at the weekend. I'd say probably Canada actually had most of the ball, so didn't do too much defending, but their carries and their intent was physical. So you want to be able to get people in the right space mentally and physically, and it'll just be those little tweaks in the week. Very intentional, though.
Very intentional. Okay, got it. Pam, how do you think the Canada team are feeling? You know them all. You've been speaking to them. What have they been doing? I heard that they've been drinking a lot of bubble tea. Is that right?
Yeah, bubble tea. Bubble tea or bubbly water. Bubbly water is like
Sparkling water.
Yeah, sparkling water. Yeah,
Bubbly water. Yeah. I like that. Bubbly water.
Yeah, I think the vibe typically is always a level of calmness. I think that's like the hugest thing, is making sure, kind of what you were saying, is like not like obviously this is like going to be the biggest game, but also just like playing what's that game? Spike ball. Like our go-to game is spike ball. Yeah, so that's usually like our team, like, you know, chill. Usually it's like before a practice or something like that, and like, or we'll like set it up in like the hotel lobby and we're just like playing spike ball. But I think it'll just be like chill vibes and continue with it. I think our team is so close knit, and so there'll be conversations around the nerves and how to kind of like reduce that. But I think it'll be a big thing about just like, you know, embracing where we are now.
Rachel, I've got a big question for you. England's starting lineup. What do you think it should be? And I guess what quite a few people are talking about is that number 9 position. Lucy Packer, maybe she could be starting over Mo Hunt. Maybe. That's what a few people have said. What do you think?
Well, I think both of them are outstanding players. Like Natasha Hunt's great, and Lucy Packer, I played at Harlequins with her. For me, Lucy just gives you that speed of ball. I think the way that she gets to the breakdown and it's gone. Mo Hunt very much likes to have a look around the breakdown. Is there an opportunity for me? No, there's not. Then I play. But the one thing that Mo does, she's so vocal. She brings so much energy, and she can instill confidence in a lot of players. So I think John Mitchell will probably stick to the team we just saw go out at the weekend. He likes continuity, likes consistency. And so I think we'll see Mo Hunt, but I think Lucy's been excellent. And I would have wanted Lucy to probably get more minutes earlier on. And more opportunities, because then that would have probably worked in her favour. But knowing how we've seen how John Mitchell selects his teams, I think at this business end you don't, and that's such a key pivotal role. Like to change that going into a final, I'd be very surprised.
Really did feel like Lucy changed the game a little bit when she came on, though, didn't it? We've spoken a little bit about those special players. I think it's fair to say that the player that has the stardust in that England team is Ellie Kildunn. 2 tries in that semi-final. The second ridiculous try. Just the audacity to do that in a semi-final is just incredible. She's so good to watch. What is it about her that makes her that special player for England?
She loves performing. She wants to be a performer. She wants eyes on her. She doesn't shy away from it. And so she can step up in those moments. And she just backs herself. She knows what her strengths are. She knows that she has great footwork. She has great speed, great turn of pace. And she just takes that. She doesn't shy away from it. And that brilliant try, you know. And that try came from just a relentless kick chase. So the effort before even the opportunity is what allows her to get those moments in those games. Last time she played, though, against WXV,
She got a yellow card.
She got a yellow card, and probably the worst game that she's ever played. So she's going to have another layer to her about, you know, last time I played against Canada, I didn't put my best foot forward. I didn't put my team in a great position. So she'll be looking to seek redemption.
I was laughing there because Pam was wasting no time. She's got a yellow card.
Yellow card.
Yellow card.
How do Canada stop Ellie Kildan?
I mean, kind of like the last time we played, is that, a lot of the players, again, see her on the weekend, right, playing in the PWR. And I think that the fact that, we have Canadians that play against, so it kind of like, a lot of the people who are new to rugby, see the, the X factor that she brings. But I think when you see someone when you see someone over and over again, and and you can analyze also their strengths and their weaknesses, it kind of makes them human. So I think it's also understanding that I think Asia said it in one of the interviews, was that, like, I think someone was like, in the second half you didn't score any tries or something along those lines. She's like, well, I'm spreading the wealth. It's a group project, and it's like, not necessarily relying on that one person, is that we have X factors throughout our entire group. So it's going to be, a battle of not just the one, but also a collective. So, yeah.
You talk about John Mitchell liking consistency in terms of his starting lineup. We haven't really seen a lot of that this tournament, have we? Do you think that's almost why we haven't seen England click as much as we're used to seeing?
Yeah, potentially. I think the second 2 pool rounds, there was like 12 changes and 13 changes. But I think what John Mitchell wants to get out of that is giving everybody game time, giving everybody opportunities, because it's a really tough competition and you may lose certain players in certain positions. Back in 22, we obviously lost Helena Ronan, Hannah Bottoman, and didn't necessarily have the players to then step in and be ready. Same in 2017, we lost Nonnie Waterman, who's been consistent fullback for England for so long, and then all of a sudden we've got to change our entire backline. So I think, there's valid reasons why there's so many changes, and obviously has such great depth and opportunity to play players. But that can be, part of the reason why we're not seeing like an 80-minute consistent clip. You look at Canada's side, it's pretty much the selection's been consistent all the way through, like particularly in their back line, their centre partnerships building, all of those kind of things. But yeah, it's one of those things that you want to give players game time, but then where's that consistency? In 2014, we were pretty much the same team all the way through. And that was very much what Gary Street wanted to do, give that confidence, give that consistency to the players, because it gives you consistency, but it gives you loads of confidence. I'm getting picked again. And then all of that kind of elements adds up to it as well.
And I think with like what we've seen is like John Mitchell relying on the bench to like provide an impact in the second half. But thinking about the way that Canada play, which is like full 80 minutes, full tilt, like full speed, do you think that tactic is still going to work well for England with like having a very strong bench and then like being more of a second half team?
Yeah, like I think what they want, and that's the big narrative that's changed about the bench now. It's not just, covering positions. It's about coming on and adding value to that game. And he does it in a way, his whole front row comes off, the other front row come on, and suddenly you think, oh, right, we've dealt with those 3. And then all of a sudden you're faced with just as equal kind of level of playing with the bench coming on. I think what's really interesting is obviously we saw against New Zealand that last sort of 10, 15 minutes, they were suddenly under pressure, suddenly giving away penalties. They were in their own half. And that's very much because, there was some changes from your bench, etc. Is their bench as strong as our bench? Yeah. So that closing 20. Did I get the side eye? Just tell him from on that Friday, you did see a change when there were changes. Can the likes of Menin and Totosi, Hunt go 80 minutes? I'm sure they can, and that will potentially play into it.
I mean, like, Dalika is a prop and like was beelining on that wing in like, second half, and like played like I think the whole game. And so at least I think with us I think we do have that depth. I think that's what's exciting about the Canadian game, is that for us to, build that momentum, it required everybody. And so I think, it'll be a battle of not just the starters, but also the entirety of the game. Who's on the bench and coming off and bringing that impact. And I think from the likes of people like Olivia Apps coming on and, saving, some tries and things like that, is just like, we have that impact. Like, we have so much depth. And so I think it'll be interesting to see how, what the entirety of both sides bring, and the better team will win on the day.
You used the word interesting. That is the word that Hannah Bottoman used in her post-match interview to describe Canada's style, which is an interesting word to use.
Yeah.
What do you think she means by that?
I mean, I think with us it's really hard for people to describe us. I think that's kind of our secret power, is that no one really knows what they'll get from us. Is that, are we gonna play fast? Are we going to go slow? Are we going to kick it? Like, you don't know. It's in our 22. We may kick it. We may do a cross kick. Like, you don't really know what you'll get. And I think that's kind of what's exciting, is that we play to the best space. And so it makes it hard for our opposition to read us. Who our strong, our strong side. We have a strong side. And but I think in that way, I appreciate a comment like interesting, because I think we are. You don't know what we're going to do.
But I think you are so good in chaos. Like, you're really comfortable in chaos, and that's really hard as an opposition to be like, right, okay, this is how we're going to defend, but then suddenly 3 offloads, an intercept, like those moments happen for Canada, and I think you're so comfortable and so confident. And as you say, it doesn't matter how they get the ball to that space. The aim is just to get it there. Yeah, and whether it looks ugly, it doesn't matter, because they're into that space. And that's really challenging as an opposition, to be like, how do we predict what they're going to do when they can just do something like that?
That's what I was going to ask. So for John Mitchell, how does he prepare this England side to play against a Canada team where, like you say, they're pretty unpredictable?
They are unpredictable, but I think coming back to that physicality piece, I think why you guys were so successful on Friday was because they were winning the collisions all the time, and with a lot of momentum. I don't think they'll get as much against England, because they're an extremely tough team. Defensively, they're really strong. So, I don't think they'll go away from what they do. There'll be eyes on, we saw how tight New Zealand got, opportunities on the outsides, and we've seen actually that be a bit of a weakness for England. So it'll be just like subtle tweaks. And when you go into these games, you've got to think about the opposition, but it's more all about what you do. Because if you start overthinking what they do, you totally go away from what you can do and what you believe in. So there'll be some minor tweaks, but ultimately, it's a mental game as well. It's a big pressure game for England, a home World Cup, wanting to, rectify the last few World Cups that we've played in and not being able to just get over the line. Obviously, it's a massive day for Canada, first time since 2014. Like, it's us again versus you guys. Like, so who can kind of deal with all those emotions is really important as well. And ultimately, you look across every single player, and it is hard to call because everyone's so good. It's going to take everybody to play at their very best to get the result in the end.
England are used to playing in high pressure finals. Do you think that's going to play to their advantage?
Well, it depends, because we can't win those finals. So potentially not. Sometimes that could actually be, everybody reflects back on what we've done and what we haven't achieved when we should have achieved. And that can be really challenging as an individual, but they've addressed all of those kind of things. And I think there's a lot of players in our team that are big game players. I think Abby Ward's been amazing, like having somebody like that in the team who's also a leader in a club. And that's the other thing. So many of this English team have so many leaders outside of it that can bring those moments when you're surrounded by 82,500.
82,000.
82,000, not 85. That you're going to need players like that to really be able to stand up and be calm in the chaos, especially when Canada bring the chaos.
Canada do bring the chaos. Do England match Canada's speed, do you think?
See, again, going back to that collision point, they can't have that speed if England can stop that collision. So that's the thing. That's why it's probably interesting, because if Canada can get the momentum in their carries and the speed of ball they get is generated by that, their carries, their quick rush, picking up the back of the breakdown, then that's really challenging, because now suddenly you will be drawing in, you'll be sucking in players, then there'll be opportunities on the edges. But I don't think they'll get as quick a ball. Like, I think we've got a number of players and we've got more threats over the ball. So again, it's like, do Canada start to resource the breakdown a little bit more? So that means they've got less players out. I think that it's really interesting because, if Canada can get that speed of ball and get that momentum, I think it's going to be really tough for England. And the other thing is, Canada will finish their opportunities. So we saw France not finish their opportunities at the weekend. That'll be completely different with this side. Like Corrigan, Hogan Rochester, Shell coming into the line, world-class players that will finish.
Pam, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the last time we faced England was in WXV, and that was, I played in that game, and we had the majority of the game, and I think for us is building that momentum early. I think what happened kind of in that game also was near the end is when we kind of let it go. But I don't know. I think in terms of that go forward, I think I still back our team. is that we have that momentum. And the thing is, we play fast, but we also can play in structure. So I think that's also what adds to that unpredictability, is that like we can do the fast ball, but we also could play within the structure and still find the best space, right? So I think it's going to be a matter of who can quiet the noise and show up on the day. And I think that's who's going to come on top.
What would you, like the both of you, say that each team's potential weakness will be?
Can't tell you that because she's sitting next to me. I can't tell you that. No weakness. No weaknesses. No weaknesses. What are you on about?
Be getting in a Canada group chat, isn't she? By the way, guys, Rachael Burford says that England really struggle with this.
Oh, I could play a little bluff game here, couldn't I?
Oh, like, what's the thing that you're the most like nervous about, like having seen the semi-finals and the World Cup for each team? Like, what's the thing that you really want each team to work on?
I just want to see the best from both teams. Like, this World Cup deserves it. The players deserve it. And I'm just nervous that, that the stress and the worry that they kind of go within themselves and we don't see the best of them. And, I'm really pleased that all players came off the pitch in 100%. Well, Crossley was a little bit cramped up, but she's hopefully going to be fit. But we want the best players out there and we want the best games. Like, my fear is that they go within themselves and we don't see that.
Yeah, I think like in terms of the momentum of women's sport, I think we'll see professional English team and a team that had to crowdfund. And I hope that the narrative coming out of the World Cup is that women's sport deserves investment and that it deserves continuity after this World Cup. And I think that is what should be the outcome of whoever wins, is that we see momentum continue beyond this World Cup.
Look, it's going to be a sellout crowd. It is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. There are going to be a lot of England fans there. How do you think Canada ride that wave?
I think we're used to, I remember like in our Olympic team, we beat France in France. And I think there was 40,000 people there. And so I think, when we beat New Zealand at home. So I think to kind of build off of that is that understanding that we are looking to kind of, spoil the party a little bit, is that we want to, is understanding that we've...
Not a little bit, it's a big spoiler.
A big party, 80,000 people, a big party. But just in the sense that like, going into this, there has been those labels of the underdog, the, dark horse, whatever it may be, is that people oftentimes underestimate us, right? But I think we have that belief, like our tagline is belief, and as long as we do our job and focus on us, I think that we'll be good.
Belief. Because of the leaf.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. You got there.
That was sharp.
Smart. I'm on it.
But we were saying believe just wrong, and then was like
believe. Believe.
Yeah. There's an Instagram account. Follow it.
Yeah. Follow Belief on Insta.
I think on that point, like on Friday, I think everyone's been saying, they are the dark horse and all these things. But everybody's kind of like, yeah, but they can be contenders. On Friday, they made a statement. And now suddenly everyone's like, oh no, they really are contenders. Like, everyone's kind of been like, yeah, they could be. But now other people really believe in it.
Everybody but Pam. Pam has been like, no, we're going to win. Done. No, but that is a really good point, because I think coming into this World Cup, everyone was like, Canada are the underdogs. But then slowly we've been like, I don't think they are the underdogs. They are the dogs. Like, they are very good. They're the hounds. How do you think England are going to cope with that atmosphere then? Because when everything's going well, that atmosphere can really lift you. You know that more than anybody. But also when things aren't going well, it can notch that pressure up, can't it?
Yeah, I think this England team's really good at embracing it. They embrace the fans so much, and that gives them fuel more than anything. I think they don't see it as pressure. I think every single player at this Rugby World Cup has been incredible with the fans and being role models, and I just think they want to do it for them. So it adds a positive element, not a negative. And even at the weekend, people trying to get Swing Low going around the stadiums. Not everybody's aware of what that is because we've got so many new fans in, which is great. But even like moments like that, people getting behind the team, they really embrace it. So I don't see it as a pressure point of view. They want to be in sellout stadiums. All these players do. They want to be in the spotlight. So they're going to step into that. They're not going to take a backward step for it.
One of my favourite moments, I think, from the semi-finals, in the England game in particular, was there was a video that World Rugby posted on their socials of a little girl and her dad watching the semi-final, and he was sat there explaining to her what was going on. Yeah. She had her cowboy hat on. Honestly, it like gives you goosebumps, doesn't it? Because it's just like, oh, that is just so incredible, inspiring the next generation. It was
such a beautiful video, and you know, you could see her like computerizing what he was saying, and then she would suddenly cheer. It was great, and like this is what this whole World Cup has been about. It really is an open door for everybody to come into this game. I remember at Sunderland there was 2 guys, like older men with cowboy hats on, England shirts, just there for the vibes and there for the game, and then you throw down to the youngsters that are coming through the door, young boys, young girls, wanting the autographs, wanting the pictures, wanting to do the yeehaw and all those kind of things. Like, it's amazing, and it's because I think this World Cup has been so open-armed. Whoever's coming in it's a place for you. It's not owned by anybody. It's open for everyone.
Yeah, that's a great way of summing it up. So we've got a massive final coming up. England against Canada. A rematch of 2014, which England went and won. Anne, what's your prediction?
Oh,
There's only one right answer.
I don't know. I'm scared.
You got to dye your hair.
What's on your T-shirt?
Maple leaf.
And on your arm?
For the girls, because I support all the girls, and it doesn't say red roses on it. I actually generally don't know, and I've been thinking about it, like, honestly, since Saturday. I'm gonna say England by 1 point. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm sorry, Pam.
She gave you the eye now.
I know. I'm sorry. My hair will be red regardless. Don't worry.
Go on, Rachel, what's your prediction?
My prediction is... No, look, England have the team to beat Canada, but they need their best game.
Are they going to bring their best game?
Yes.
Because we haven't seen their best game yet.
They're saving it best till last.
Best till last. Pam?
Definitely Canada is going to take it home 100% with confidence.
Where's everyone watching the final from? Are you commentating, right?
Yep, so I'm going to be up in the box.
Oh, God, you're going to be there.
I'll be there. Maybe on the sideline. Maybe, yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, because you were with the Canada bench, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Just sat there. Enjoying it.
Girls, yeah.
With the gang. What were they all saying?
Oh,
What's the vibe?
Can't say that. It's explicit.
we were go on the Instagram, you'll see. But no, we were just hyped. I think like anytime anything happened, we're just like, let's go. Well, but yeah, we were just
a big thing, like bringing energy from the bench show, like
because you hear it.
Yeah, it used to be a thing. Like if there was a dip in before or like a moment where it felt like energy was lacking, it's like the bench's responsibility just to be cheering,
be hype.
giving good feedback and all of that. The hypes.
Yeah. That's so funny because if you like go to a Premier League football game, for example, everyone on the bench is sat their hoods up like this.
Don't want to be there.
Like, they don't bring anything, like, let alone energy.
Yeah, it's hype.
It's where you get. It's where you get the most energy. And I liked with like the England, like when Ellie killed done, and everyone was like on like
the drums.
Yeah, on the drums and just everything and that kind of energy. It's just like very hype. I love the bench.
Just quickly before we wrap up, let's just have a very quick chat about that bronze final. New Zealand against France. Which way do you see this going, Rachel?
New Zealand.
They're going to be coming back wanting some vengeance from that semi.
100%. I think they're not a team that often go a negative, like a loss and a bad performance, and then back it up the following week. They often will turn it around very quickly. And also there are a few players that I think it will be their last Rugby World Cup. So it'd be interesting selection-wise. Does he give players their last opportunity? Some players have toured and not played, like Kelly Brazier, one of the greatest Black Ferns players, hasn't had a lot of minutes, so giving her the opportunity to maybe finish on her terms. But I think they'll be really fueled after the disappointment, because for France, you know, we know that they've been semi-finalists time and time again. It's not the norm for New Zealand, so I think that will really ramp up what they do in this third, fourth playoff.
Pam, what do you think we're going to see from France? Do you think they're going to go out there and... I guess we haven't really seen them properly get off the mark this tournament. It's been a bit slow. Everyone's been like, we're waiting to see France, but we've never quite seen them.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember watching it, like, this weekend with England versus France, and you just saw in the anthems, like, a few of them were, like, crying, and you just saw how much it meant to a lot of the players. And I think, you know, we saw that in the first half is that they threw everything. And I think with both teams, they're going to throw everything at this game. I think France plays with so much passion and heart, and I think that regardless of whatever happens, they'll do that. So I think we'll see that for sure.
Well, guys, thank you so much. It is going to be a big weekend incoming. Let us know what you think. Let us know where you watched the final, what you thought of it, and we'll answer all of your questions in the next episode. But everybody, have a good one.
Good luck.
Good luck.